How did you, Sam? You. Yeah, we're just doing a standard Q&A, I don't know, I might see a little bit of my piece, just be like, yeah, opinions and shit. Yeah. Yeah. This world is a blight. Nothing on it is worth being here. Humans haven't really accomplished anything. Cure polio, and now population booms. There's billions more people suffering and shit. I mean, look at it as a good thing because I guess due to the technology boom of the industrial revolution, most species are going to go extinct in the next 100 years. That's pretty cool. That's about fucking it. That like humans basically just fuck themselves over and fuck everything else over. Might not even be a win. Might just kill us, and then another couple 100 years, everything's back to normal. Who knows? So it comes down to it, life is just, it's not going anywhere productive. Humans aren't really fixing shit. The thing we can really do to win is just, this Mendham says, throw a monkey wrench into it. Just fucking shut the shit down. Just fucking blow this bitch up. Disease it, shit, whatever, But anyway, the only way to end suffering and end the problems is just end the thing that caused the problem, which is life. Really, you know what? I knew I should have bought something on Black Friday. Would have been a new microphone. I should have bought a new microphone. Or Cyber Monday. Do be some clips. But yeah. People have no hope of changing their minds, really, in terms of things. So the only way to do that would be like completely alter their way of perceiving the world in a in a more negative direction, which would be like to cause some like extreme suffering, probably to someone they care about, which would be in and of itself probably not very Gucci and may cause more unnecessary pain than should be. So yeah, it's way too complicated. Life is just way too complicated. And changing people's minds is just too icky. So
Right.
hello, Seb.
In Mandem was very right. Like when he called you nice. You are actually very nice. Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
did he do that in a recent video or something? Or
no, I guess it was when you were on his stream and you talked about like the the THC and then you gave him a donation.
oh yeah, yeah, and I remember that. Yeah, I donated him like $100 or something a while back, and I donated him like another $175 like a couple weeks ago or something. Yeah.
Yeah, you are intelligent and you're able to formulate a lot of good thoughts about a lot of things that are superior to like, most people. So yeah, it's unfortunate you have to feel like that.
Did Tate asks, did you put up a Christmas tree yet? No, no, I have not. Don't plan to. Yeah, it's unfortunate I feel this way, Seb, but it's kind of what it is. And it's not much that life is throwing at me to help me out, so, it's really how it do be. Yeah, I hope you're feeling better than I'm feeling, so.
I guess I'm feeling all right.
Nice.
Yeah, I was in the stream with you on vegan equilibrium. Unfortunately, like my PC turned out of power, and since nobody could invite me back on, and the link didn't seem to work, I couldn't rejoin.
Oh, that sucks, yeah, on the Gnostic and Analyst stream yesterday or the day before. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it didn't really last much longer. Do not watch how to go, so we all kind of just dipped out, and then me and Noodles just kind of chatted for about like 20 minutes, like in the downtime stream about life basically. He's going through some big sad at the moment, understandably so. Life is pretty shit, and it's kind of hitting him a little bit hard. So if anybody has friends of Noodles here and watching this, talk to your homie. He needs your help a little bit. A man to lean on another man every once in a while, or woman. Or they them's. It's 2023. We don't judge. A dude can lean on anybody's shoulder so long as they're cool with it. But yeah, Noodles is kind of big sad lately. But yeah. So am I. So I fucking relate.
Yeah, I remember when I was sad, I used to, it was when I had anhedonia. I used to do a couple of things like cold showers and Wim Hof breathing, I guess, and then binaural beat. So whatever one can like link to, which like mitigates the sadness just a little bit. One should do that if one can. I also went to that channel. Uh, hmm. I guess I forgot his name since I haven't watched much of his video. Yeah, Rita McLeod. Yeah, that
Rita, yeah,
channel.
I'm
Yeah.
friends with him.
I saw that he on one of his tags he had like anhedonia as a tag. Like I hadn't watched the video, but I wanted to watch it later. Just wonder why the anhedonia tag was there.
He has schizophrenia. I know one of the symptoms is affective. I forget the terminology, but basically just makes you like, I think it's called like emotional affect or something, but basically just emotional flat affect. I don't know, but it basically just means you just have like very dull moods. Like you don't really have vibrant emotions. Like it's just kind of everything's meh. Like kind of like oatmeal that hasn't been flavored. Like life is just kind of like plain oatmeal. It's just boring. Kind of sucks. So that's kind of one of the symptoms of schizophrenia. I'm not sure if he has it, but I wouldn't be surprised because he does have schizophrenia. So I haven't really asked him too much about his schizophrenia because I know he doesn't really like talking about his mental illness too much. So
Yeah, I heard like people that are, yeah, I've heard that before about psychosis that they can develop anhedonia from it. And not only that, or the antipsychotics that people get to like treat psychosis, that also can cause anhedonia.
Yeah, I don't know if he takes medications really. I think he does, but I think he does because he needs to take medications for the government to give him benefits or something. But I know you get benefits from the government no matter what, even if you have schizophrenia. But if you take your meds, you get more benefits. I'm pretty sure that's a thing. So I don't know if he takes his meds or not, but I mean, he seems relatively stable. So I don't think he hallucinates or anything, but he does like paranoid delusions every once in a while. So I mean, I don't know if he takes his meds, but. But yeah, I mean, I think he just has anhedonia naturally. I think just because it's one of those things where it's like a natural symptoms of schizophrenia. Plus, I mean, he's an ethicist, so life is kind of just like philosophically he has like a lens that makes things very dreary. Yeah, it's just kind of how it is. I'm surprised you have
Yeah, I
such.
did.
I'm just saying, I'm surprised you're able to maintain such a neutral mood.
I guess my mood is like bad most of the time, but it's not that bad. It's not to the point where I feel like it's unbearable, but it's not good.
I got you. I don't want to focus on too many negative topics, but I
Yeah.
mean, I do, but don't. I mean, pessimism is really the title of the stream, but I don't want to like focus on our lives about pessimism because that's just like depressing.
I also didn't want to make any assumptions whether he had done a donor or not, since I only saw that tag, and I guess that's not enough to prove whether he has it or not. And I didn't even watch the video, so I can't really make any assumptions on that.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, he never really seems too happy, and when I ask him how he's doing, he never says good. He always is kind of like, shit, or it is what it is. I chat to him every once in a while on Facebook Messenger, or he calls me on his personal phone number or whatever. We'll play like tic-tac-toe and shit. It's fun. But super tic-tac-toe, not like tic-tac-toe, because that's like, the most simple game ever. We wouldn't do that. Super tic-tac-toe is like playing tic-tac-toe within tic-tac-toe. It's pretty cool.
I'm unfamiliar with Super Tic-Tac-Toe and why Tic-Tac-Toe.
Normal tic-tac-toe is just like a bunch of lines intersecting, and you have to try to get like 3 in a row, like someone's an X and someone's an O, or whatever shapes you choose, I guess. And then you just try to like one person goes and then the next person goes, and you're just trying to like connect 3 in a row. It's pretty simple, or block each other and no one wins, But Super tic-tac-toe is like doing that, but like like playing tic-tac-toe, but inside like a bigger tic-tac-toe board, and like where you go kind of depends on where the other person is forced to go next. It's difficult to explain the rules without like showing a board and like explaining like where some would go if like I went here or something. But it's pretty fun. I can show if you're interested, I can pull up a YouTube video or something and like it'll explain.
Yeah, I'm familiar with like the regular tic-tac-toe. I was not familiar with the term white tic-tac-toe. That must be like the most common one. So I think I get a picture on tic-tac-toe. It's kind of simple compared to something like chess. That has like as many seemingly endless combinations of moves one could do.
Yeah, tic-tac-toe is literally...
How to win at tic-tac-toe. If you're starting, place your marker in one of the corners like this. If your opponent places their mark in the center, you can't win unless they make a mistake. But you can definitely win if they go anywhere else.
Basically,
If they go in any of these 3 squares
Really
here, you need to go here. Or if they go in any of these 3, you need to go here. Let's say they went here. So we've gone here. Next, they'll block you from winning. And at this point, you need to make 2 options for yourself to get 3 in a row. So we can go here or here. Either of these positions gives us 2 options, and we've won the round. If they start here, you need to go here to make sure you've still got 2 options. Now, if their first move was here, you have to be a little more careful. Place your second mark in position, and when they block you, you need to block them. But this still gives you 2 routes to win. If they start in any of these 3 squares, it's exactly the same principles, just in reverse. But if they start directly opposite you, you can either go here or here. They'll block you, then put your mark in the final corner. If they start, make sure you put your mark in the middle square, then just keep blocking every move they make and they won't be able to win. But if they start and go in the middle, it could go either way. And now you know how to win at tic-tac-toe. If you're starting, place your marker in one of the corners like this. If your opponent places their mark in the center, you can't win unless they make a mistake. But you can
basically super duper simple.
Definitely
One
win
person
if they-
starts, and they can literally start anywhere. Usually, people just flip a coin to see who starts, and then it's simple as one person goes and the next person goes. They can go anywhere, and yeah, you just try to connect 3 in a row or block the other for a person from connecting 3 in a row. Then it's basically a child's game. Like no one who's like an adult really plays it because it's, as you can see, it's like literally takes 30 seconds to explain how you can like literally win every game or make so no one can lose. But Super Tic-Tac-Toe is way different. So, well, kind of different, but it's like Tic-Tac can beat you. Yeah, but Super Tic-Tac-Toe is like
Super Tic-Tac-Toe
way more
begins with the
complex,
usual
because
3x3 grid, but in each of its squares, another
to force your
tic-tac-toe
player to
game is
move in certain
placed. The first
areas.
player can play in any of these 81 spaces. Let's say they choose to play in the middle game in the upper right. The next player must play in the game whose location corresponds to the square chosen in the previous move. So because X chose the upper right square, O must play in the upper right game. Let's say O goes in the middle, this means that X must play the game in the middle. Ooh, because X played the middle square, O is now forced to play in this very same game and can block X. Play continues like this until someone gets 3 in a row in one of the games. When they do, that entire square is marked for them. If a player is ever forced to play in a game that has already been won, well, they can't, and instead they get to choose to play anywhere. Play continues until someone wins 3 games that are in a row. Super Tic-Tac-Toe begins with the usual
Yeah, especially just like you try to get 3 1 tiles in a row basically for Super Tic-Tac-Toe. It's just like playing Tic-Tac-Toe inside Tic-Tac-Toe, and it's like way more fun and complex. It's like the previous player's move forced you to play on like certain areas, so it's kind of neat.
Yeah, I did play like the regular tic-tac-toe before. I guess the regular one is not. Even as like a kid, I didn't find it that fun since, like, it's not even worth
No, yeah, exactly.
like making an effort into it. But it's not like chess that is engaging. I used to play chess somewhat before.
Mad respect, because checkers is about as far as I can get. Chess is a little too complex for me. I can't do that shit.
Yeah, it's hard for like everybody in like the beginning, but I'm sure you would get the hang of it.
Maybe. What else? I'm looking at YouTube just to see if there's anything worth watching, but I'm just gonna keep talking. I mean, you live in Norway, right?
Yeah.
You guys aren't really caught up in too many wars, right? Like basically ever.
I guess guess during World War II there was the whole Nazi occupation thing. Vidkind Quisling was like I guess the first person in Norway that got sentenced to death. I guess there hasn't been many sentenced to death in Norway in like later years, maybe in like the Viking Age. There was a lot more of that. But there has, I guess, Norway has managed to like keep clear from like conflicts and stuff. But there are some Norwegian soldiers that do some efforts in like foreign countries, but I don't know too much about that. I haven't done too much research on that.
How are the taxes like distributed in your country? Like, if you guys don't like spend like majority of your stuff on war, like, just out of curiosity, like, you know, imagine most of it's like healthcare and like foundation, but
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of taxes when it comes to uh, stuff like alcohol products, tobacco products of various kinds. They don't have they even have they have like cigarettes and like the snus, which is like the smokeless uh, way get the nicotine, I guess. And then there's hmm, when it comes to like more uh, yeah, when it comes to like useful stuff like actual food or something that uh, isn't harmful or has some kind of value, it's there's not that much taxes on it, but there's still a little bit. Yeah, like in Norway, there's like this abbreviation MVA, I guess.
people in Norway like idealize the USA at all, or like you guys kind of like also look at like USA like, God damn, you guys kind of need to get your shit together. I think a lot of people look at us like,
I haven't met too many other Norwegian people or interacted with other Norwegian people to such an extent, but like the little I've done, I've noticed that they don't really idealize the US, but they don't hate the US either.
okay, that's fair.
Um, I guess in Norway, I guess the topic of the US doesn't. I guess the US is one of the most talked about countries in the world. It affects like other countries a great deal more than other countries like uh, Vietnam or like Poland, just name a few, I guess.
Oh, is it fair?
Yeah. But I'm not sure if I'm qualified. Maybe I am, but I guess for some time I've only talked to like one Norwegian person, I guess, um, and I'm not talking to that person anymore, I guess, and uh, so most of the people I talk to in like later years haven't been Norwegian, I guess. So yes, I guess I don't know much of what like the typical Norwegian person thinks, like I guess compared to uh, people of other countries like Ireland and the US and stuff like that.
Do you guys have like paid paternity leave and like weird like stuff like that, like where like people can like be like, I guess like a weird like, I mean, like I used to be like in favor of like a lot of socialist policies that were in favor of like mothers and stuff like that, like having like, you know, time to take care of their children. So I know like a lot of European countries have that. I mean, is that like a thing in Norway or no?
Yeah. Like when someone gets like pregnant and can take a break and get paid a bit.
I mean, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, as a ethicist and antinatalist, I mean, given your tax dollars go to like, you know, incentivizing people to technically have children and then, you know, sit on their ass.
Yeah, I guess that it's not tax dollars, it's tax kroners. That's the
Ah,
yeah. I
yeah.
guess
I
that's
gotcha.
just like a technicality I need to pick. I guess an unnecessary one. I guess I got the point anyway, but yeah, like tax. The taxes can go to a lot of bad things. Like it goes to like, yeah. What do I think of that? Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. I guess. Hmm. Like in some sense, like it contrib- it can make it easier for a woman to like have children and stuff, and therefore they get more of them. But like if a woman is like working a lot of the time, then it can be bad for like the health of the
The child.
fetus
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah, and like
Yeah.
if the fetus isn't properly developed, it can decrease the risk of them like being more rational and having less children and stuff like that too.
Hmm.
Um, mm. yeah, but come to think of it before, when even before when there were no taxes, even before all of that, people would have even more kids and stuff. It seems like
I
I
just
guess
don't
it's
know
not
what to
that
do when it comes to
strange,
those
but
policies. Because, like, I know, like, statistics say, like, if you increase healthcare, like, it actually decreases the rate of childhood births just because, like, you know, if you can raise 2 children to adulthood instead of having, like, 5 children, like, 3 of them die from, like, illnesses that could have been prevented or whatever, but you didn't have healthcare. I mean, you're more likely just to take care of 2 children than instead of have, like, 5 or whatever. But at the same time, like, I don't like when the government, like, makes me pay money to, like, take care of other people's problems, essentially, you know, that I didn't ask for them to bring into existence, and is not in favor of their children either. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I understand once the children are here, it's like, you know, it's cruel to just abandon them and be like, well, hey, you know, you forced them into existence, so, you know, and I don't want them here. So therefore, let's just, like, let them die. I mean, that seems like, you know, also kind of cruel. I mean, they're better off dead than being alive, but, like, letting them die, like, in, like, a slow way of, like, just, like, malnutrition or just, like, being ground up by the system, you know, like, later in life. I don't know, that just seems, like, cruel. So it's like, I don't know what to do exactly in terms of, like, the perfect economic system, in terms of de-incentivizing birth while also at the same time, like, allowing those who were forced into existence to not be in the shithole.
yeah, I don't have like I haven't thought of exactly that before. I guess.
Mhm.
Uh,
Magnum does a lot of thinking, and I like some of his ideas. I guess, like, the whole idea of, like, if you don't do criminal acts or whatever things to, like, you know, strain society, then every 5 or 10 years you get like $5,000, like $10,000 or something, just to, like, incentivize people to do good things, I guess, and not do bad things. And one of the things to be bad would be, like, essentially having children, because it does put a strain on the system and the world and all that. So I mean, positive incentives do seem to be good, but, like, at the same time, there's, like, plenty of people who would just be like, "Oh, fuck it, I'm gonna." I mean, people are just dumb as shit. People get, like, knocked up when they're like in their teens, and, like, you know, they have the ability to get an abortion, but they just choose not to. So it's like, you know, you'd think people would care about, like, having, like, a free $5,000, you know, or a free $10,000, and also not going to jail, But at the same time, like, people are fucking idiots, so it's like, I don't fucking know. Like, it's like, yeah, I don't fucking know. Like, it just seems like the world's just full of people who aren't worth even bothering sometimes. But
Mm.
I'm just being a negative Nancy, but it is in the title, Pessimism.
Mm. Yeah, I guess another counter argument against or I guess for paid leave is like if they ultimately have to quit their job and they become poorer, I guess, and perhaps their children won't have as good of an education, I guess.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
if there's already some research on it that like paid leaves results in more like birth overall, then guess I would have to be against it. But it kind of sucks to even say that. It must sound really controversial for outsiders. I guess when the goal is to convince someone of that the world is crap, can be hard to balance that out with some of the more controversial things.
That's true. I don't know. It seems to me like convincing people that the world's crap should be like, I don't know. I don't fucking know, man. Like, there used to be a thing that I would be like, yeah, man, we should try to do that because, like, letting people be aware of how negative life is, like, allows them to basically, like, try to become a better person as a response. But I don't fucking know, man. Like, it just seems people are just, they kind of believe what they fucking believe. Like, I don't know. Like, I know people that, like, literally have gone through, like, so much shit and they're still like, but life is an experience for something much more greater than this, or they'll have like some religious excuse like well, this is one of God's trials to like allow us to be closer to him, or like to show like inspiration from him, blah blah, whatever, or, and that's just like the religious nonsense. Like, the non-religious nonsense is even more stupid. It's just like, it's fucking like, oh, it's just nature, man, or, it's just life, or, you gotta take the good with the bad, bro, or if you focus on the negative like that, because you're like, or they'll just say like, you're right, man, but like, what do you want me to do? Kill myself? I'm not gonna just focus on the negative. So it's just like no matter what you try to say to people, like if you try to make them focus on the negative, they'll either just ignore it, twist it, or just say that what, bro, you're right, but I don't care. So it's just kind of like I don't fucking know. It's like convincing people the world's crap used to seem like a good idea to me, but now it just seems like it's like a waste of time, and like people are just too fucking delusional or sadistic. Like they'll literally just not give a shit. Like I don't know.
Mm.
It seems to me like it's really obvious the world's crap. Like people like like you have to tear apart things that are like feeling just like us to live, and there's war going on all around us, and for like since the beginning of sentient time, things have been tearing each other apart, even of our own species, and the whole climate's going to shit, and like the world all knows it. Like it's common knowledge that like by 2100, 99% of species will be extinct. So it's just kind of like, I don't know, it just seems to me as like, convincing people the world's crap. It's like, yeah, I guess we could do that. But like, at the same time, it's just like, I feel like a lot of people already know the world's crap, but they have like this weird, I don't know, as Antelope, I think, Antelope says down here, like, they have this weird toxic optimism where they're just kind of just like, I don't even care if the world's crap, I'm a fly. I can enjoy the crap. Bzz, be the fly on the crap, But like everybody has like this weird fucking radical Buddhistic acceptance nature to them where they're just like, you know what, fuck it. So long as I'm not the one being raped or pillaged, or I'm not the one on the street, it's okay. So
I guess I have a hypothesis for why people won't come to these things and this is combined with some other factors, so this isn't like the only thing. Uh, First, I will tell a story. Like there was this cave case that I stumbled upon. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but I've heard about the Nutty Putty incident.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'll use that as an example. Yes, so someone got stuck upside down in a cave, couldn't get out. Uh, i- that's it. I just found it very gruesome. Uh, but like I guess his children. I guess it's hard for them to admit that their like late father's life was like simply not worth it. Like the suffering he went through made his life an utter tragedy. And to also admit one's own life is like a tragedy. It's a hard thing to do with the whole self-preservation thing going on. And so in order to have a like a health of a mind as possible, um, I guess it's not like people choose it. It is uh, it's like this evolutionary thing that happened. I think,
Yeah.
but people just won't admit that other people's lives are just uh, and, like really bad, and nothing can make up for it. And like the same goes for their lives too, I guess.
Man, I don't know. I love my cousin. He's like life's crap, but he like believes like some spiritual nonsense that like we know life's crap. Like we're all trying to like take in some weird experiences for like some extra dimensional bullshit. You know, like he doesn't even know what he believes, but he believes that like something like there has to be some reason for why we're here, man. I'm just like fucking. I don't know, it's just
Yeah,
disheartening just looking at all these people making dumbass excuses for all the suffering that they inflict on others and shit. And um,
it's strange. So the world is seems very hellish, and in many ways it's close to like an actual hell. It has many similarities, like the amounts of beings suffering and how long it has gone on. In like that, I guess it's the- yeah. And when it comes to that, it has a lot of similarities, I guess. So for people to see this world and then assume, okay, when I die, then it's going to get a whole lot better. Uh, w- wouldn't it be more likely that things, if there was an afterlife, it would just be worse than this one? Like if one has, or it at least wouldn't be good. Like why just assume when they die they will go to heaven? I guess isn't it more likely it will be more hellish too, based on the existence they've been through?
yeah, I agree. I mean, as we can demonstrate, like all life is in our world is negative, so it just seems absolutely absurd to assume that somehow like there's like an opposite world of like all positive. Like it's just is like, I don't know. I observe all negative here, so why not just assume everything's all negative? It's just kind of makes no sense to me. But I mean, there doesn't always need to be an opposite of things. Like I mean, like darkness is just technically a concept. Like it's really just the absence of light, and like cold is just the absence of vibration or heat, you know. So it's just kind of like, I don't know, like, there doesn't need to be an opposite of everything, but everybody assumes there is. Everybody's just like, well, if there's pain, there has to be pleasure and positive, you know. It's just like, no, there really doesn't, you know. It can just be a shithole. Life is just shit. There isn't any redeeming quality, even if we want there to be, even if it seems so. But yeah, I don't know.
I guess it also doesn't help. People believe in an afterlife. Sometimes they use like near-death experiences as like some kind of defense uh, to justify the existence of an afterlife. Uh, and even though like the whole near-death thing and why that happens has been proven. Hmm. I'm
Yeah,
sure that didn't help either. Um,
no, you're right. I mean, I literally went to like a movie like a couple months ago called like After Death or some shit like that, and it's about like near death experiences. So yeah, they're still making propaganda and shit about like, you know, the afterlife and, you know, what could be after, you know, and all that shit. So yeah, it can all be explained by just chemical processes in the brain and shit like that. You know, it's just like, you know, people want to cling on to hope, and fucking propaganda and hope is strong, unfortunately. So
mm. There's also the whole neural circuit thing. Yeah, I don't know too much about that, but like whenever like a habit is formed, I might be totally wrong on this, but whenever a habit is formed, or when when one learns to ride a bike or learns to drive or something, there's a bunch of like neural circuits that are formed that makes it like effortless. And I guess during childhood, if they have been thought that God is real, and there's a lot of neural circuitry that has to that is like a
to be
that
programmed in.
has to
Yeah.
be like fought against, I guess.
Hmm. Yeah, it's, oh man, yeah. I mean, I don't know how you fight against that type of shit. I mean, I've never really been deeply programmed, so it's like, I mean, I kind of was like, I wanted to be a priest when I was like, in like the not sixth grade. I wanted to be a priest when I was in seventh and eighth grade, maybe ninth too. It's just like, yeah, I mean, I was for a while kind of deeply programmed, but I was like more like, I don't know. I mean, from an intellectual point of view, like when I was taught religious stuff, I was kind of like, oh, from a religious point of view, if you take religion seriously, you should like be like deeply actively involved in like trying to convert people and like trying to be involved in your faith and stuff. Because, you know, I'm like, you know, I take things seriously if I believe in them. At the time, I was like, even though I wasn't like deeply programmed into like religion, like my family wasn't like super duper religious growing up. When I kind of like discovered religion as like a middle schooler and like confirmation and all that, I like became like kind of deeply religious in a way, like really fast. But I wasn't like programmed like for like my childhood. So if I was, I don't know. I don't think I would have been able to overcome it. So I don't fucking know. Like it's just like the whole reason I overcame it was just because I was trying to save someone's soul who was a good friend of mine, and you know, because of that, I was motivated enough to pursue knowledge of atheism and why atheists believe what they believe or don't believe what they don't believe, so to speak. And so yeah, I mean, if you're deeply indoctrinated, like your neural pathways are already like fully invested in the God delusion. It's like I don't fucking know how you'd ever be able to pull yourself completely out of it. You know, there always seemed like I don't know. It's just like when I flipped to atheism, it was because like I came to the conclusion that there was no real evidence of God, you know. Like, and I was just like, oh, atheists are basically saying like, why believe something without evidence, and why declare something true without evidence, especially when it has like implications in other people's lives. And I was like, shit, that makes a lot of sense. But if you have like deep programmed like neural pathways believing in God already and like truly believing in God, then that's just kind of like, I don't know. If you get to like where I was, like I feel like they would just resort to faith. They would just be like, oh well, you know, that's why the Bible says faith. Am I right? Ha ha ha. You know, doubting Thomas or whatever the fuck his name was. You know, I don't need to see to believe. Lol. And then they just go on their way believing. I feel like so it's like I don't fucking know, man. Like I feel like like the neural pathways are kind of, I don't know how you fight against that shit really. Like
Hmm. I don't know, maybe psychedelics since believed. Yeah, I think they do create more neural pathways. Uh, so I guess if one had more, there's higher chance. I guess that one could get out of it, perhaps.
I guess that's true. Yeah, psychedelics do reset neural pathways. But that'd be like, I don't know. You would have to be like a really weird setting. You'd have to. I don't know. I can't even like imagine the setting one would be in to like be tripping balls and also like having like a theological debate, especially because like I don't know, I feel like that would take like multiple sessions to like break down a person's religion, But I mean, I guess it's possible. It's definitely possible, but it just feels like it'd be like some like a weird like shadow government like stealing Christians and dosing them with LSD and being like, "There is no God." I mean, it would probably work, but like, I don't know. It feels like it'd be difficult to pull off.
Yeah, I guess psychedelics has a tendency to amplify people's spiritual thoughts or even create new ones that hasn't existed before. And yeah, but it's extremely hard to reason, let alone like walk in a straight line when I've taken a lot of shrooms. So, uh, hmm. Not sure how. I'm not sure if people would. Hmm.
Be the
I don't
most
think it would
logical.
go that well if one tried to convince someone something while they were on shrooms.
Yeah, probably not. They'll probably just get confused. Well, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go to the bathroom and I'm gonna take a smoke break. It might be like a half an hour, honestly. So I mean, if you want to stick around and just like do things on your phone or get whatever you want done, go for it. But if you have stuff to do or want to go and catch some Z's, because I know it's like late at night for you, also understand because being gone for half an hour, just kind of waiting in the stream, is probably pretty boring. So, but I'm gonna dip out for a little bit, but.
I'm going to catch some sea if I can. If not, then I'll uh, uh, be on the stream again.
Right on. Catch you in a bit then. Maybe.
Catch you in the bit, perhaps.
Ciao. Testing 1, 2. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I have to smoke outside now in my cousin's place, and it's kind of annoying. Invade my room, I guess, but so like the neighbors, like cough every once in a while. Like I don't want to annoy the neighbors, man. Like your neighbor's like fucking like 8 years old on like oxygen. Like one, I don't think she cares, and two, like she can't hear. But I'm just gonna keep it to myself because I ain't gonna make no problems. But when it comes down to it, fucking hell, man, old people. Well, you're coughing, and also the air smells like smoke, and I'm like, no, it doesn't. You're just a schizo. You think fungus is growing in your lungs, bro? Chill out. But it is what it is. I'm just gonna accept it for now. Not long term. This is bullshit. I already kind of hate living here, and it's been less than a month. Doobie. you know. Nah, I don't know actually. Life. It cooled out? Yeah, it do be cooled out. I had to wear a jacket and then I turned the heat on. Set in my car, so it would be. My hands. I fucking hate this headset, man. Turns off every once in a while. Unless you play like some type of sound to like stimulate it. So we'll do that. But yeah, it kind of sucks. Monkey. You're probably not wrong. Minnesota's for extra great like if I remember right. So yeah, I'd imagine it's probably cool as shit there. Especially if it's like superior. That means extra cool. But I'm sure with geography, so I have no fucking idea. All I know is Minnesota's near Wisconsin, but all the Great White Lakes are kind of near Wisconsin. Nah, you're not near the Great Lake. You're just in a cold area, I think. There you are. Oh, fuck. I have a cold. Kind of do be. Thank you, the anti-endless antelope. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna watch the rest of that video. Then I guess I'll do my live stream. Because why not?
this rationally, right? If we think that pleasure is the basis of morality, which a lot of ethicists do, even if I would say so, even if they don't realize it, then it's a simple calculus. The calculus can't practically be made, but let's say if human life is net suffering, then it would imply that that's not worth living. So it's best not to bring it into the world.
Yeah, I mean, you could make that argument. That's not necessarily the whole. Like, that's not what the antinatalist point rests on. It's just that would compound the point. That would make it stronger if it was actually net, overall bad. Basil, again, with 5 canny Ds. What a legend. Says, my kid will disappear when it dies. Also, I really want to have a kid. So much for being rational. Who said that? Did Cosmic Skeptic say that? I might be missing on that one, but I get your point. Like, so my kid will disappear when it dies. I mean, that is just like a massive euphemism for what you're putting on someone else. Like, when a lot of people say like, oh, if I have a kid and they don't like it, they can just off themselves. Or someone would say, my kid disappears when they die, and it just completely smooths over the actual ethical detail of the whole situation. Like, no, like you're putting someone in a position where they could slowly die of cancer, or like, if they don't like their life, you're putting them in a position where they have to jump off a building or shoot themselves or do something else that's going to be even more painful. Given that in the vast majority of places, you don't have access to the right to die. And even if
you
did,
like weird
obviously,
movies?
still,
Oh, fuck yeah, I like weird movies, bro. I kind of want to watch One Cut of the Dead again pretty soon. But yeah, I love weird movies. So if you have any weird movie recommendations, Anti-Analyst Antelope, 100% recommend you give some to me. Otherwise, I have a bunch of antinatalist films that I own. Have a little bit of a collection going on. So, like half of them are weird as shit. Like, it's like, what the fuck? Like, some of them I'm like, I'm not even sure why this is on the antinatalist film list. Like, it's just like, what the fuck? I guess you could put it here. I mean, I guess, like, technically, if that was my life, I'd be like, no bueno. But at the same time, like, some of them are just like, what the fuck? Like, The Eyes of Your Mother, that movie is just weird as shit. I don't know why that was on one of the anti-analyst lists, and I bought it, and I was like, hey man, I mean, to be fair, I mean, kind of, it has some anti-analyst ties, but, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Miami Blues, Freeway, and Killer Joe. I'll take a picture, and I shall watch those at some point, or at least look into like the trailer and be like, huh, okay. If they're free to watch, I'll watch them. Maybe I'll watch one later tonight. But yeah, Doobie. King of the Ants. Okay. Tubi. Oh, Tubi. Okay, like the streaming service Tubi. I think Tubi is free, actually, right? Yeah. Tubi is free, if I remember. Oh, watch the again. Okay. Let's take a gander. Let's name a couple of those. Miami Blues. Right on the house side. There. Maybe like once or twice. I usually just use Amazon Prime or Netflix. But Or when I was at my older mates, they had fucking, they had like basically everything. They had like Hulu, and they had fucking Disney Plus, and they had all their weird shit. Crunchyroll. But it's called Scream. Is that the name of that horror? Fucking, I don't know. They also had that like $5 horror stream thing for a little bit. I was like, nice. You think of Fred Ward is hilarious? Fuck yeah. Dude, I wonder if Tubi has. Let's see again. Why am I forgetting the name of it? I just said it like a couple minutes ago. Fuck. It's been Japanese. What the fuck is this film? One Cut of the Dead. Yeah. One cut of. Oh, no. No. Doobie. One Cut of the Dead is a really hilarious film. It's a zombie film. It's about like a live film that's being made and zombie happens. Wow. It's big funny. Ha ha ha.
There's still more conversation to be had, but it's not as easy as just saying, I'll have a kid, and if they don't like it, they can kill themselves.
And if it's net pleasure, then it's best to do so. That's kind of the calculation we're making. The thing is, like,
I mean,
the thing is, we
that would really, I mean, that would allow some really gruesome shit under your totalitarianism. You don't want to.
obviously can't know the answer to that. There are two ways of looking at it. There's the individual basis and saying, is this individual's life going to be net pleasure or net suffering? I think there's a good argument to be made that everybody, regardless of who you are, lives with a net suffering. That suffering is the affirmative thing in life, in which case the anti-natalist position makes sense. Another way to look at it is to say, well, maybe there are many people who do have a net pleasure, but overall as a population of the world, on average, the suffering is the net, and therefore it's best to cull the entire population because because the average of the entire population. That's kind of a different way.
Well, I mean, I disagree with Cole, but I mean, I get the point he's trying to make. I don't think he actually meant go out and kill everyone.
Looking at it, because in that framework, there are people who genuinely experience more pleasure than pain, but we're still going to stop having kids because the average will be the average will be reduced. But I'm interested in something like, let's take the kind of ethicists who think that something like personal choice and human rights are the pinnacle of ethics. And what we really want to do is give people the choice. One of the anti-natalist talking points is to say, I never chose to come into existence. And because I feel like my life is more suffering than pleasure, I'm resentful of those brought into existence, especially because I now can't kill myself because I don't have the emotional ability to do so. So I'd be interested to ask an anti-natalist, how would they feel instead about a world that normalizes suicide? That when someone commits suicide, it's kind of like, it's sad, but it's like right, well, they made that choice. Like everyone's aware of the arguments and they think, well, maybe life isn't worth.
There is an anti-natalist that talks about this quite a lot, called Existential Goof. They're very active on X, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe they run the blog Schopenhauer on Mars. I might be wrong though, but I'm right on the name Existential Goof. They talk about this topic a lot on X.
Living, they thought it wasn't worth living, so they killed themselves. No big deal. So that we can bring people into the world, knowing that they will have a choice when they grow up to decide if they want to continue living or not. And because it's normalized and because it's safely done, it's not like a big kind of scary thing to do. It's kind of people are faced with the choice. How would an anti-natalist feel about giving people the choice to decide whether their life isn't worth living or not by normalizing suicide instead of by culling them from the beginning, if you see what I mean? What would you think about a world like that?
I don't know. I'll let Kia talk first. Yeah.
Sorry, I kind of thought about that, and I would be fine with it sometimes. Like I don't mind too much. I don't know, it's just I feel like people should have the choice.
I mean, to be honest, I think it doesn't really fundamentally change the dynamics of the topic that you're talking about. Like, all it does is remove one specific or reduce one specific harm, right? Which is the dying process. That's it. It doesn't address anything else. Maybe it would address also death anxiety, but apart from that, like all the other dynamics are in place, and that's just sort of like an additional auxiliary sort of dynamic. So it's strange because you would presume you'd say to someone, okay, well, if we change this core dynamic of the thing you're saying, how would you think about it then? But that's not even a core dynamic. It's like a side one. So yeah, I don't know.
To do whatever they want with their lives, and I don't know, but I don't have any like a philosophical argument for it. I just feel like you were saying something else about that, and I don't know what did you say. Sorry, you go ahead.
Well, so I was just going to say, I would argue that maybe there might be two different comparisons that we're trying to make here, because the difference between someone ending a life that's already there and the life that's being brought into the world are kind of two different things, because the ending of a life that's already there can bring in a kind of suffering. And I am someone who believes in a right to end one's life when one chooses, with huge asterisks there. But end of life scenarios is mostly what I'm thinking of when I'm talking about that, because we're talking about someone who has lived a life, who has experienced things, and whose options are not as great as someone who is younger, who has more potential for things. And whereas if we're talking about someone who isn't even born yet, like the potential isn't even there yet until we make the potential, if that makes sense. And so I think it's a little bit different if we're talking about it in those terms.
Yeah, I think I don't know if you've watched that episode that Sam Harris had a podcast with an episode with David Bennett.
Yeah.
And they talk a little bit about that. They talk about, I think, pro-mortalism and versus antinatalism, and they made, I think, like Dan said, they made that distinction. That
I'll have to listen to that Sam Harris Benetton one again, because I haven't in ages.
one would be like a potential life, like you're not yet born, and you're probably trying to more argue for not having children, but more with like probabilities, right? Like maybe how much likely is it going to have?
Sure.
Yeah, but then I think this is a lot of epistemological beating around the bush. Like, let's talk about the ontology of this. If you're a utilitarian, if you think pleasure should be maximized in all circumstances, like the right thing
Basically,
to do,
I agree. I think so.
the correct thing to do is maximize pleasure. If that's what you think,
it comes
let's say
down
it's
to
uncovered
it,
tomorrow,
Alex.
that every
It's just
human
kind of
life is a
like
net suffering rather than a net pleasure. It's not just antinatalism is interesting. It's like
easing
so
the
it turns out that
modalists
it is
these
an ethical
days.
truth. Not only is
So
it
it's
like,
just kind of
yeah,
like
maybe we should all kill ourselves and not have children. It's like you have a
everything
moral
is just
obligation to do so. Like you have a moral
I'm
obligation to end all life.
expressing
that is something that needs to just be
booze and yays
squarely
and
fixed.
shit.
Kind of
It's,
talk about
to me, it's
Well, a lot of
just
people talk
silly.
about that when
It's
it's
just
from a
like,
negative utilitarianism,
I
don't they?
mean,
what
I feel like
about what's the
booze
difference
and
between
yays
ending life and preventing life? What's the
don't
how can we
necessarily
know
mean
if pleasure is going to maximize?
anything
That's not the
per
important question.
se
The
in
important question is,
terms
can we
like
really say that if we knew for a fact that
um,
everyone suffered more than they had,
pause
then
the
they
video. I know
pleasure,
it's
that
hard
we should just
to hear me over it. Anyways, Alex is like a motivist. He's all like everything is like booze and yays and shit like that, but like it doesn't mean anything. But to me, I'm kind of like, I don't know. Emotions kind of, I mean, they kind of do break down to booze and yays, aka pain and pleasure. But I think those booze, I mean, fucking matter quite a goddamn bit. And the yays, the gays are kind of an illusion, so to speak. It's basically just filling a hole, like just as Buddhism says. So it's just like the yays matter to us, but they don't actually have any positive value. So it's just like, I feel like utilitarianism, which is what Alex is subscribing to in this old video is Silly Billy. But when it comes down to it, like, feeling good, better than feeling bad, but it's like still technically like, no positive is really happening. So, it do be. But, what was I talking about? I can't remember if Alex is an antinatalist. No, Alex is not an antinatalist. He wants to have kids in this old video, and he still wants to have kids now. He is an emotivist, so it's basically like an anti-realist, essentially. It's basically just like an anti-realist, but like, saying like fancy stuff, I guess. Like, it's like anti-realism plus descriptionism of whatever what he believes reality is. But yeah, he doesn't believe he believes morality is just people talking about things, and trying to express themselves, but really doesn't have any value behind it. There's no like right and wrong, which I think is silly. I think it's clearly obvious that someone's suffering and there's not a good reason to have them suffer, meaning like you're not preventing more suffering by having a person suffer. It's wrong. Clearly, it's just kind of like, yeah, I mean, neither way, the suffering's not exactly Gucci. It's just like it's consequentially necessary. In some cases. So, it's basically just what other people call painism, essentially, which is basically just like negative utilitarianism, but like prioritizes subjective suffering, essentially. How did you? Couldn't fall asleep?
No, I couldn't fall asleep. I decided to do some chores.
Gotcha. Yeah, we're still watching some of that Alex video. I'm thinking about stopping though, just because it's kind of getting boring. I know all of Alex's bullshit. I mean, Lawrence doesn't, because Lawrence doesn't exactly watch a shit ton of Alex O'Connor, but, I already kind of know it's BS.
I've been less prone to the effects of sleep deprivation.
Hell yeah. I used to be. Now I get tired pretty easily if I don't get much sleep. I mean, I get tired pretty easy no matter what, actually. But, I mean, yeah. I'm not like my younger self anymore.
Yeah, I guess some stuff can contribute to that, like if one is on a med or something, or it doesn't mean it is some kind of permanent thing.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, it's probably just because I'm like in a depressive funk and it makes my body want to just shut down, but it'll eventually go away.
Yeah, the depressive funk can also affect sleep, I guess.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know, man. Do you have any topics you want to talk about? Because I don't really have much. I mean, I'm just kind of waiting for questions in the Q&A and stuff. And I was commenting on that video of Alex, of Anton's about Alex O'Connor. But yeah, that was a little boring. So
Yeah, I did want to ask you. It seems like I have more stuff to say than usual. Do you notice that I'm more talkative this stream than the previous ones?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I've been noticing that myself, that I'm more talkative and I tend to talk more. Like it has been something I noticed this last months. Uh,
Yeah. You also said you've been feeling a little bit better as well, if I remember right.
yeah, just generally I've been feeling better. But I had some periods where I was more depressed, but that passed.
Have a good
I
night, Antenatal
also noticed that when I talk, sometimes before when I talked in English, I would forget some English words, I guess. Just like a momentary forgetfulness, like everybody has once in a while, and that used to only happen when I talked in English.
Hmm.
But now that doesn't happen at all.
Oh, hell yeah. It's awesome. Yeah, I guess it's just like used to have some burning cloud probably from like depression and stuff, like just other thoughts occupying your mind. Now it's a little bit clearer, or something. I don't know, but that'd be my guess. Hmm.
Yeah, some yeah, I have a topic. It's like the topic of like the ethics on. Don't think people has discussed this much before. The topics of near-death experience. So like when when one dies, sometimes one can have a near-death experience, and that can feel either very pleasurable, like one is in heaven, and one is reunited with one's family members and they are happy, or it can feel like hell. I've heard of more cases where it feels pleasurable than hellish. Um, it can sometimes also feel both, like it starts off feeling fun and then it is painful.
Hmm.
So knowing that in mind, the best thing would be like if someone died, they can still experiencing through that near-death experience. It can still be hellish. So I guess when someone is dead, the best thing to do then is to destroy the brain completely.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, if I were to go out with a method, it would be a way that would, annihilate the brain. So, which is really easy in America, surprisingly.
Yeah, and I guess us and animals probably do have some near-death experiences too. So the same should go for them. Like if a dog dies, or if one puts a dog down, one should destroy the dog's brain so it can't experience a hellish near-death experience.
I know a lot of like people. Well, I have a friend whose family members live out in the countryside. When their dog was like really old or whatever, they just brought it on the back and took a shotgun, and just bang, basically just put it down that way, and it's basically instantaneous. I mean, they don't really feel anything. They're just alive 1 second. Next minute, like their whole body's just ripped apart, full of buckshot. So I mean, it's the humane thing to do. But like, I mean, I guess euthanasia is not too bad either. I mean, it's not instantaneous like a shotgun is, but it's like rather quick. I mean, if you ever watched a dog euthanasia video, it's just like they inject them, which is gross to watch because I hate syringes. And then it's like within 10 seconds, the body just kind of goes limp, and they're basically just their heart stops and they haul them off, you know. So I don't know how much brain activity they have after that, but I don't think there's much. Plus, I don't really think. I mean, I don't know if dogs can dream or not, but I mean, and they might have inner visuals, but I know they don't have an inner monologue because most people don't even have inner monologues. So it's just kind of like, I don't know.
I think dogs can dream. Sometimes when dogs are asleep, they will be distressed or seem distressed, and they will also like move their legs a lot, like as if they're running away. So do you think
Yeah,
dogs
you're
can
right.
have nightmares?
Yeah, dogs can probably dream. They probably have like some inner visual thing.
That's like something too that is bad about existence. A lot of people have the positive notion. It's partially true that sleep is some kind of escape, but there's also nightmares one can have too.
That's true. I don't really have nightmares very often, or I mean, I've had like nightmares when I was a kid, I guess, and had like semi nightmares as like a teenager. Like, I guess like events where I'm running away from things, but like I don't really feel scared necessarily. I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I haven't really had anything like that in the recent years, so it's just like my dreams are usually just really fucking boring. Like I'm just like doing like arbitrary things like talking to family members and like playing video games or just like going to work or something. It's just really boring stuff. So it's like I can't even escape life while I'm dreaming. But like, you know, it's usually fairly normal stuff. Every once in a while I'll be like arguing with people and shit like that, I guess, and I guess I'll have like somewhat distressing dreams every once in a while where it feels like I like having like a awkward conversation I want to have with someone or something, and then it's just like I wake up and I'm like, oh, that didn't actually happen. But you know, it's just like, I mean, I don't really feel like those are nightmares though. They're just kind of like weird brain processes that I just kind of like deal with. I don't know. I don't really feel distressed from, I guess. Like maybe a little bit, but I don't know. I don't really think of my dreams too much. I don't really remember them very often in details. So
Yeah, I guess there are things one can do for that. Like people can train themselves to lucid dream. I thought about that too. And I tend to have like more vivid dreams when when I exercise more.
no, the thing I've been wanting to do in the past was learn how to, you know, like lucid dream or whatever, which is like, you know, you can do that by like, you know, doing like weird tests, like make sure reality's real, like counting your fingers and shit like that, and then like doing that like every hour of the day, on the hour or something like that. And then if you're dreaming, you know, you can test it and then be like, oh shit, I'm dreaming, and then you know that sounds cool to me. So I'm like, you know, because like, lucid dreaming always sounds like a neat thing to do. But and then if I could lucid dream, I always wanted to try meditating in a lucid dream, because that would be fucking wild, I imagine, or just really boring. Like I'd be just wasting time in a lucid dream, like trying to meditate. I don't really know, but that's the thing I want to try. So
Yeah, I guess unfortunately, I think lucid dreaming can increase the risk of sleep paralysis. Guess
to
that
be
would say.
fair, I've never had sleep paralysis, and I kind of want to experience it just to see what it's like.
Yeah, I would be terrified. Like if I woke up, I couldn't move. and then suddenly there is this demon standing in front of me. That would suck.
Problem with
I can imagine a lot of kids that hasn't even, or even like young teenagers that hasn't been told about sleep paralysis, since their parents never bothered. If imagine if they ever got one, they never heard of it. They would think they lost their mind or something.
True, yeah, you'd think you're going crazy or like actual demons exist or angels or aliens or some shit. Yeah, that'd be fucking wild. Yeah, it's probably that's probably like a lot of the reason people believe in that shit is because of fucking psychological phenomenons like sleep paralysis, and I think it's like 90% of people who would get sleep deprivation hallucinate and stuff like that. So that would probably explain why people.
Is the number that high? Like
Yeah,
90%?
yeah, it's like not like 90% of the times that you have sleep deprivation you'll hallucinate, but it's like 90% of people that have had sleep deprivation within their life have hallucinated while being sleep deprived at some point. So, well, it's whether it's auditory or visual, basically. So, basically, it's a pretty high number though. But yeah, it's like a lot of people experience hallucination as well, sleep deprived. So it's probably why people see a lot of paranormal bullshit and shit. It's because they're just tired.
Yeah. Fortunately, I've never had like a hallucination. Like while sober, at least I've never had that.
I've had auditory hallucinations while tired and high at the same time, but only while tired and high at the same time. They're a little spooky. You're just kind of like sitting there, all of a sudden you just hear like people talking, and you're like one intonation, but you can't understand what they're saying because your brain's just like all fuzzle-wuzzled, and it's just like, what the fuck? I'm the only person here. There shouldn't be voices in the other room. And then it ends after a little bit, and you're like, okay, I'm Gucci. I'm just high as fuck. It hasn't happened to me in like about a year or two. But when it comes down to it, every once in a while, you'll get like weird auditory hallucination, and you're just like, damn, I'm baked as fuck and tired as fuck. I should really get some sleep. Yeah. Moral of the story is get good sleep and don't do drugs, kids. I'm just kidding. Sleep is for the weak, and not going to violate YouTube monetization. So don't do drugs. Wink wonk. I'm just kidding. I actually sleep quite a bit. Sleep is pretty good. One of the things about being a stoner is it's proven that if you smoke a lot of THC, it like reduces your ability to remember dreams, or like reduces the amount of dreams you have. I don't know which it is, but basically, because I smoke quite a bit, I don't really remember my dreams very often. So it's quite literally like when I go to sleep, I just like time skip. It's like every once in a while I have like dreams and shit, but like it's very rare. Like 90% of the time, it's just like you're just like, let me go to sleep now, and then just kind of sitting there for a bit. And you're like, this fucking sucks, and then all of a sudden it's like morning. It's just like cool. Skip 6 hours. 6 hours of suffering.
What kind of THC, or like weed strand, or like even a THC derivative would you take if like the goal was to be as creative as possible?
Good question. Probably like Delta 9, the traditional weed, or, maybe THCO or something. I don't know. I'm not sure if THCO is stronger. Maybe that might be. But then you just like puff that a few times and then just do whatever creative thing you're trying to do, I guess, probably. And then like any sativa, I guess.
Yeah, I talked to my friend while he was on THCO, and he seemed like a totally different person.
Yeah, THCO is pretty good, if I remember right. I mean, it doesn't get me. I live in Wisconsin, so I've not really got like Delta 9 THCO. I've only gotten Delta 8 THCO, but it might be good. Who knows? It's because you
What
can't
about
get.
what about like all kinds of drugs? Like, what would be the best, I guess, except the THC ones, to boost creativity?
Huh, I didn't know that. Guess I've just been like depriving myself of REM sleep for years. Really do be.
It might be exaggerated. Maybe you get some REM sleep.
True, I'd probably be dead otherwise. Because I quite literally like fucking. I used to only get like 6 hours of sleep every night, maybe less sometimes, and I'd smoke like every day and every night. And if I wake up like in the middle of the night, I go and smoke more and then go back to sleep. So, I feel like you need REM sleep to live, but maybe you don't. Maybe you don't. I don't really know. So, fucking, I don't know, man.
What about like when it comes to psychedelics? If you had to like make a song and be creative as possible, I guess what psychedelic would you use then?
Well, if it takes like a while to write a song, then a low dose of LSD would be probably good. Like 100 UG or less. Shrooms, like, maybe would be okay, yeah, maybe. So, like, you just have to take like a low dose, maybe like 2 grams, 3 grams. Not like 2 grams, so you'd be like functional or less, 1 or 2 grams. And then, yeah, personally, my favorite of all the psychedelics is DPT. And I used to microdose that, and then I'd like game and just like watch YouTube, and I'd like live stream and shit. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it makes you more creative, but it definitely makes you like feel wonky and like interesting, and makes all your senses go like wacky doodle. So I mean, it's definitely my favorite of all the psychedelics. So maybe it could be used in creative processes, but I've never really tried to be creative on psychedelics. It's not really my thing, I guess. But I used to think like philosophically, I guess, on psychedelics a little bit, but like, and I do that on DPT a little bit here and there, but I've always kind of been the idea that like, neo-utilitarianism and now painism basically are the most valid things. So it's kind of just been like, I didn't really have too much to think about on DPT. It was just kind of like, yeah, like thinking of different scenarios and like, like hypotheticals and shit like that, and like how we can put things into effect in terms of antinatalism more effectively, and like what I should do in terms of activism and shit. But I don't really know. I've never really got too creative on psychedelics.
It tends to like impair reasoning a lot. Hmm. I guess now when one does it, I guess when one is under the influence of the psychedelic. I've heard of like scientists, some or like people that have reported that they microdosed with some LSD and then they were thinking better uh, in some ways. Hmm.
No, I believe it. I mean, yeah, I mean, I definitely have like more elevated moods, and like, I guess if your mood's elevated, you're more likely to not think depressive and distracting thoughts and just get into like a flow state of whatever you want to be doing. But I've never been really good at getting into flow states, so who knows?
I guess I've had like a bunch of times where I felt like a flow state when I've been playing guitar or even when I've had a conversation. And I guess for me, it in order to have a flow state, I can't. It's I have to be doing it a while. I guess whatever I'm doing, I have to do it for a while, like uninterrupted. Guess that's the only way it can work for me.
That makes sense.
I wonder. Has Mendham ever said he has done any psychedelics?
I've never heard him mention that. And I mean, he's usually said in his channel that he thinks drugs are kind of stupid or like a waste of time, but I don't really know.
Hmm.
I don't think he thinks people should be like locked up for drugs, but I think he's kind of thinks that people that use drugs are kind of like not really intelligent, which is, fair enough, I guess. But it's just kind of like, yeah, I mean, I don't think Venom encourages drug use or has really done much drugs, and or if he has, he's done doing them. So I don't really know. I guess I could check on his website really quickly. .com. Let's jump in. Psychedelics. Let's go here like this. Boom. Share screen. Boom. Bam. I guess he has, I think. Let's see. Yeah, he's done psychedelics.
I guess.
Oh, shit.
Just so fucking stupid. It's like saying, "Well, we'd be so much happier, whatever." I don't even know what to even compare it to. You can't. Oh, it's just so fucking. I don't know. I hate black culture. I hate drug culture.
He says it again. Remember the last
How
time he
much can you
streamed?
squat? I don't know.
What was that?
Yeah, I remember the last time I streamed the. He streamed one of his videos, I guess. It was the video was called "Don't Stir the Poo" or "Don't Stir the Shit" or "Don't Poke the Poo." Something
Yeah.
like. He also said he dislikes black culture. There's a bunch of like black cultures, like people born in Nigeria are like different. Their culture is different from like African American culture. The people, the people in like Ethiopia are different from their culture is different from the African American culture. I don't think one can just put like black people culture into like one thing. Like,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's just a little. Eminem's views on some race stuff is a little sus at times, but yeah, do be. His ethics are good, but his views on what we should do regarding race is a little. Yeah, I mean, I don't like any culture, so I mean, I just consider myself a cultural annihilationist. So I mean, I just think all cultures are kind of creating division, so that they're not something that we should have. But globalism, hell yeah.
yeah, stated like he doesn't like the culture of the black people culture, but I'm not sure what he dislikes about it. What is it like? I have no idea what he dislikes about it.
Maybe I'll look into that in one of my other streams, like tomorrow or some shit, just to see why Eminem be like he be. But yeah, I know he says here in a second. that
If you don't
he
mind me
returns.
asking, what do you do for a living, Gary?
Good question.
Well, I don't live very well. But yeah, lately I don't do much, frankly. I mean, I do work and odd jobs and whatnot, but I don't really make enough of a living. What's your opinion on humanism? There's no humanism as one thing, so it doesn't even mean anything. There's no clear. It's like quantum mechanics. There's no clear definition of what that word means. Did you win the fight 25 years ago? Well, I won some and lost some. Barry, have you ever tried? I mean, I lost a lot more when I was younger. The older I got, the more I won because I started getting taller and I was big. As a kid, I lost all the fights because I was a runt. Gary, have you ever tried any psychedelics? Yes. It's not the answer, okay? It didn't do anything for me. It wasn't a miracle and everything's all right. Oh, it's just so special. No, none of that shit happened. The world didn't make any fucking sense. All I had was a more paranoid experience. I didn't see the magical unicorn guiding me to the future. Whatever the fuck you people do on your LSD, I really don't understand. I've never met any one of you who was useful, productive, reasonable, or anything. You're not supermen. You're not super characters. You don't do anything. You're useless sacks of shit who just keep talking about how, oh man, the colors, man, the colors. You're fucking retarded. Yeah, this block. Don't ask me drug questions, all right? Fuck it. Anybody brings up drugs, you're getting fucking kicked. It's a useless, stupid subject. It answers nothing. Talk about masturbation is the answer. Should the government subsidize masturbation? Yes, yes, okay, I'll vote for that.
Come to think of it, he did make an exception with you. Like when you had like this. I don't remember what you asked him. Something about quitting weed, something related to that. Yeah, I guess that's different to him because I guess you wanted to quit it or at least take a tolerance break.
That's true. He didn't ban me. Probably should have. just because it was a dumb question. But yeah. And I didn't even take a tolerance breaker for number 8. It's because I was too addicted. So yeah.
Yeah, it said something like it's like dessert. Can't remember the exact quote.
Yeah, dude.
But I guess it's important to note. Like I guess it's possible to say it's still not a good thing to say or a nice thing. I guess, but I guess one could say like I dislike black people's culture without actually being racist. Like a culture and a race, they're like different things. Not that like if but not that I think like black people culture is like better or worse than any other culture of races, I guess, that I tend to have. But there are various cultures within like each race, and sometimes there are like white people that has uh, been raised in areas where there is a lot of black people too. So I guess it's like the culture is talking about and not the race itself.
True. Well, I mean, tomorrow I'm going to talk about if I do stream tomorrow. I'll try to. I'll look into some of the Amendum weird cultural belief stuff just to see what he when he talks about like culture and what he's getting on about. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call it quits for tonight, or at least for a couple hours. So
All right.
yeah, you have a good one, my dude, or best you can.
Take care. Bye bye.
Ciao.